we get the reward for interrupting it. You'll see the green text in a second.
Well, shall we begin?
So cancel an enemy art. In order to do this, you have to use impede. Now, Flamberge and Autumn Leaf Cutter will do that for you. In the event you want to do it with Laura or Gaius, you have to make an impede chord. It's a time element, and then you have a 30% chance, so about a 1-3 chance of your just basic attack on that actually impeding the spell and stopping it. So you'll see me do that over the course of the video. Either Green or Lisa, it's just those two are the easiest to do it.
Hang in there!
So to offset the AoE damage, I went ahead and used Plus Arrow off these two. Unfortunately, I think I moved it off Green at the last second, otherwise it would have been ideal to include him as well.
My turn.
The bonus CP would have helped since I'm kind of using Autumn Leaf Cutter. To be blunt, it kind of is an overloaded craft, and I imagine I probably will be significantly abusing it for the rest of the playthrough. So right there I used the armor break to reduce its defenses, that way Gaius and Green can do a bit more. And on account of just one enemy,
It's my turn.
you don't really have a lot to really fear. Now I did give Gaius breath because I figure, well, for one, he's wind. And you will see me use it probably both times, since that will burn up what's left of Gaius' EP. So I was a bit curious as to what all Analyze entail, that's why I want to do this, and it's basically just stuff we could see with Elisa anyway. Bit of a waste. So I'll blur up on account of the seal, I can't physically attack. I will be picking up some accessories as we go here and there, it's just I won't get a lot, or enough for an entire team for some time.
Turn to flames!
So I think right here he starts channeling. Yep. So you see Reen's turn comes up, go to Craft, Autumn Leaf Cutter.
There!
And if you look on the right side, condition met.
Right.
That means we got our bonus AP. As for the message in the top right corner, I have no idea why it keeps popping up on the board, but it does. So anyway, if you look at people's health, you realize the breath is kind of a must. Now, unfortunately, Gaius' art stat is pretty pitiful, which is why that was only like a 500 point heal.
Of course.
Things have changed a bit from Trails in the Sky, where these spells no longer deal for fixed amounts. They actually seem to scale with the user's art ability. And that kind of sucks for Gaius, but then again they did change orbments to where you can put in raw physical stats. So that does kind of offset the change to healing actually scaling. Anyway, one more thunderstorm later, you can see that Elisa's a little banged up. And since I don't have anything else to do with Gaius' turn, I figure why not use breath on her. That was pretty much my thinking exactly. Now this does burn up what's left of his EP, and if you notice on the turn gauge, there are no more turns like that coming. So yeah, I have to try to expedite the execution.
Go!
So as long as you have a few decent spells equipped here and there, this boss is not a problem even if he does seal you. On account of being the MC, Reen has pretty nice all-around stats. Doesn't really excel in anything, but he can kind of fill in the gaps on your team. Here I noticed I didn't actually put the links in effect. That would have expedited it. Oh well. You can see that this guy is definitely beatable and not that difficult, even if you don't use the link system.
This is nothing. Shatter! Now!
So hopefully you see you don't get any stagger bonuses unless you have that in effect. But at this point the fight's winding down. And I don't know how much I'll be popping in on this video for commentary, but there'll be at least 2 more times, I think. Just just to try to point out some things that you may or may not know. Anyway, going silent again.
That concludes today's practical exam. Next, I'll be announcing the details of this weekend's field study. Each of you, please come forward and take one of these.
Bareahard and St. Arc. Both very well-known cities here in the Empire.
Bareahard's the capital of the Kreutzen province in the east, right?
And St. Arc is the capital of Sutherland in the south.
Two provincial capitals. They seem like fair choices.
Guess they are, but that's the least of our worries.
Is this some kind of sick joke? Instructor, what are you trying to prove? You have some sort of personal vendetta against us or something?
For a change, I agree with him. This is ludicrous. I refuse to accept these group allocations. Change them at once.
I don't know. They seem pretty perfect from where I'm standing. Besides, you're from Bareahard, so putting you in Group A was a no-brainer.
Then put me in Group B! I'm not thrilled at the thought of going to St. Arc either, but it's better than gallivanting off to his hometown. Besides, everyone knows Bareahard is like a breeding ground for nobles and their dusty old ideas. The place is crawling with them.
Well, I can't deny that. Especially since that's exactly why I put you in Group A to begin with. I'm no army officer, so I'm not about to go telling you that my orders are absolute and such. That's much too military for my liking. But I am your instructor, and it's my duty to look out for your best interests, which I feel is exactly what I'm doing here. So if you have any objections, then how about the two of you try to make me listen to them by force?
Interesting.
Come on, don't...
Male pride is so predictable. I knew you couldn't possibly turn down an offer like that. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
What?
An orbital gun and a sword? Those are terrifying looking weapons.
That's the spirit. about you give them a hand? I'll take on all three of you.
What a powerful aura.
All right, it's time for some extreme extra credit. If you think you can convince me to change your assignments, well, let's just see how well you measure up.
Okay, I wasn't really planning on talking over this part.
All right, show me what you've got.
So, in this fight, it's not winnable, so don't waste anything. Feel free to use spells and stuff. You can even use some CP, because she will be getting it back as either you attack her or she beats you down, one of the two. Now right here I'm trying to point out with the link system, you cannot link Machias and Jusis. And that's not a glitch, that's there for story purposes because the two characters obviously hate one another. That will be resolved in the coming chapter, and that's going to be one of the focal points, but right here I'm just trying to point that out so you know that it is a thing. Right here I'm using the battle scope just because I'm a little curious as to what all it says about her. Instructor Sarah, Homeroom Teacher, Blade and Gun, Unrelenting Assault. And that's the end of the fight. Now the storyline will move forward and there's no penalty for losing or anything, so don't worry about it.
Impossible.
Are you okay?
I had no idea she was that strong.
I believe she was holding back, too.
Her combat style is most unique. I couldn't even hazard a guess as to what school she represents.
I guess this means... Yep. Decision's final.
Chalk one up for the educator. Group A and Group B will be heading to their destinations this weekend as planned. Good luck, everybody. I'll be expecting souvenirs.
Your rank's gone up. Here's a little something from the Academy. Thank you for everything.
Morning.
I want to make this very clear before we leave. You are my classmate. You are not my friend. We may be in the same group, but I would appreciate it if you would not address me as casually as you seem want to do.
Our class's vice president is as stubborn as ever.
Say that again. I dare you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It looks like we're all gathered then. Shall we be leaving?
We might as well, though there's still some time before our train leaves.
That's fine.
I have no objections either.
Well, let's go.
That won't be necessary.
Rufus?
What? My beloved brother, it's a pleasure to see you again. To think it's been 3 months. Where did the time go? I wasn't expecting to reunite with you so soon, but I'm delighted to have the opportunity.
As am I. You seem well.
I take it these are your fellow members of Class 7?
Yes, that's correct.
You know about us?
Of course. I've read all about you in my brother's letters. Where are my manners, though? My name is Rufus Alberea. Jusis is my younger brother. You needn't hide your shock. It would come as no surprise at all to learn that my brother has never once mentioned me. He is, after all, quite easily embarrassed.
That's not...
But I digress. This is no time for idle chatter. I came to escort you to your lodgings for the weekend.
Wait, you don't mean...
The car is parked outside. Welcome to the verdant city of Bareahard. I hope you enjoy your stay, ladies and gentlemen of Class 7.
So I'm going to pop in here real quick while they show the scenery, just say, I really don't like Rufus's design. He looks way too similar to the Prince, and it's, from my brief interactions with both of them at the same time, I tend to tell them apart by either their voice or their dress, instead of just character design, so yeah.
I see. So the one responsible for selecting our tasks this time around was...
Indeed. I selected them on behalf of my father. Allow me to present you with this.
Thank you.
It really is a fascinating coincidence. I never imagined my younger brother would become classmates with the son of Lord Schwarzer.
Huh?
You know my father?
Certainly. Baron Theo Schwarzer is an old acquaintance of mine. Many years ago, I accompanied him to a falconry competition held in the suburbs of Heimdall. He taught me much about the practice and its etiquette. Why, that must have been 10 years ago now. Is he doing well these days?
Yes, he's quite well, and still just as fond of hunting as ever.
Splendid, splendid. And you must be the son of Governor Regnitz, no?
That's correct. I'm surprised you knew.
Indeed. I encounter him quite often when taking care of official matters in the capital. Though our positions may be different, he has given me excellent advice in the past. I feel it must be fate that you two would end up in my younger brother's class. Please do try and get along with him.
I will consider the possibility with an open mind.
Wonderful. And I would be remiss if I were not to acknowledge our two beautiful ladies. No doubt your presence brings a touch of elegance to my younger brother's academic life.
Oh, I'm honored you would say so.
It's nothing like that.
Can we please stop discussing me? And when you say lodgings, you can't possibly be referring to...
Need you even ask? Naturally, you'll all be staying at the Alberea family mansion.
But...
I jest. Father's instructions were that I should do with you as I wish. So, considering the circumstances of your visit, I've had a hotel room prepared. That way you'll be able to concentrate more easily on your field study, no?
Oh, thank you. I truly appreciate it.
I'm afraid we'll need to end our charming repartee here, however. for I can see your hotel coming into view now.
This seems to be the city's noble quarter.
No wonder most of these houses look so overblown and excessive.
Okay, popping in here. The reason why you come to this shop is if you want the Imperial issue, in case you missed it, and the Cornelia reprints. So in case you're wondering about the Cornelia reprints, these are just books from Trails in the Sky. It was basically the Trails in the Sky equivalent of Red Moon Rose. So if you're curious, you can pick it up. If you want to see it all now, I do have a video on my channel of what happens next achievement. That'll tell you that. And otherwise, our point for coming back here is I wanted to get the Kogi Sune. Is that Maru or Meru? I couldn't see what that second to last syllable was. Now, the reason why you want that is because without Laura, that means Reen is kind of your physical attack DPS. Fee is also somewhat decent. It's just for the upcoming Extermination mission, you have to use Jusis and Machias. And I want Emma as a healer, so that means I'd have to basically turn Reen into the physical DPS, which is not bad since you're going to have Reen for the entirety of the game.
This street seems kind of different from the others.
This is Artisan Street, where craftsmen and merchants ply their trades.
So it will help us at the coming dungeons even after this chapter storyline is resolved. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did buy that weapon with the intent of immediately upgrading it so I get the extra bonuses. Once again, here we have Bleublanc. Now he actually speaks. For those that don't remember, he's Phantom Thief B from the book. I'm not entirely sure why he doesn't have his mask, but for those not aware of him, he is a member of Ouroboros, and he's like Datara from Naruto, where he believes in the beauty of destruction. So whenever he shows up, expect bad things or things not to play out as right, as properly or as intended, and they are going to move in this direction of destruction. So, let's commence the quest.
I love the look of this city. It's so beautiful.
Maybe so, but it's got nothing on Heimdall in terms of sheer scale.
Oh, a lake. It looks so pretty.
Oh, a treasure chest. Oh, a treasure chest.
Here we go! That bridge above us looks like it dates back to the Middle Ages.
It is. It's been there for several hundred years.
It's my turn. Yeah.
My
My turn.
I've got this!
Okay.
my turn.
I'll handle this.
Go!
Yeah.
I'll handle it.
A dangerous foe. Stay on guard.
My turn.
Go!
I was debating whether or not to cut this fight out. And
This
I
might actually be a
uploaded it so you
challenge.
guys can see it. So this is the dangerous enemy of the area, and to be perfectly blunt, compared to the Gorky Chief, this thing is like a cakewalk. You'll see what I mean as things go on, but this is the Zwordar or something like that.
There!
I don't know if it actually means something like German or Norwegian or something along those lines. With most
My turn.
cases, I genuinely don't care where the names of various things originates. So anyway, I went ahead and impeded the spell so I didn't have to worry about it. I believe that was Ariel I was casting. Could have been
My turn.
Airstrike or something.
Target lock.
Anyway, I'm using Sweep on Fee because it inflicts speed down, which is very, very handy for getting extra turns in. Overall, I can't figure out how Fee is supposed to be optimally used, but she's very handy for some of the debuffs she can inflict. Sadly, you will not be seeing her too much once we get past the Extermination mission in the next game day, not this one.
There!
So right there, they're in position for a 3-man autumn leaf cutter, and you can see that the fight is like it's not getting out of hand or anything.
Got it.
Which is one of the things I was expecting. Since
Very
we
well.
are moving past the Gorky Chiefs, I figure more danger, hopefully more reward, but it's definitely a step down. So right here, you can see one of the Zwordars is blinded, that's why I opted to go for the turtle instead. I go ahead and... yeah, they're weak to fire, so I go ahead and do the heat wave, I believe. And I got kind of lucky with that missing, but that's mostly due to the fact that I had it blinded. So one golden sphere later, things channeling again, but luckily green will get another turn. And since these things are more caster focused, it's easier to keep them under control. Actually, this might be... yeah, it does. Good to know. Since they're more caster focused, it's easier to limit their DPS and kind of keep them under control. That, I'd say, is the key fundamental difference between these and the Gorky Chiefs, and Unfortunately, I don't know what level these things are, so I can't tell you whether or not they're actually somewhat usable for farming. I can say this is the only time I actually fight them the entire chapter. So, anytime you see them after this, I will just run past them. Now that the blind is timed out, I need to try to refresh that, hence why the golden sphere is going into effect. And I got kind of lucky that the Eternal moved into the radius, so he goes ahead and needs some free damage, which does kill him.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, Emma doesn't have her offensive move just yet. She will be getting that one in a little bit. I don't actually know if I use it on camera during the chapter, but it's an AoE move, so it can come in handy in fights, and in most cases, you don't really have anything better to use her CP on since she doesn't get her break for a while. And I'm kind of expecting hers to be more healing focused for reasons I'll mention after the Extermination mission here.
Very well.
So you can see Reen takes quite a bit of damage. He is not using state-of-the-art armor, but compared to how much damage the others are taking, I don't think it truly matters.
We fight pretty well together.
It was hardly a challenge.
I think they get their moves right here. So I got a U material for my trouble, as well as an Evade 1 quartz. It's right there. Ethereal Edge. It's a line.
Success.
That should suffice.
He has his Rune Blade. This is an area move.
I did it!
And Machias doesn't get anything. So the lines can come in handy depending on how you want to fight the end chapter boss. I will go over strategies when we get there. That'll be next video. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a bit. See you there.
This looks like quite an old road, though it does seem well reinforced.
Yep. Looks like a lot of armored vehicles come this way.
I didn't notice there was a path here. Oh, what a nice looking treasure chest.
Oh, that's a beautiful looking treasure chest.
Oh, what a nice looking treasure chest. Oh, what a nice looking treasure chest.
Okay, you see a black chest.
treasure.
You know what that means. Plus, if I'm talking, that should also clue you in on the imminent danger. Now, the good news is,
You're in my
compared
way.
to trap chest fights, this is really, really tame. So I just go ahead and use Arc Slash, I believe, on these guys. Yeah. Since they were all lined up, I can go ahead and just do it that easily. And then I wanted to use a Flame Slash on the other side. That way I can pick off all four of them.
Flames, gather on my blade!
the extermination target being a single enemy,
My turn.
your S-crafts or S-breaks are not as important.
Be gone!
So any CP that you have is just going to be intended for lower tier moves. Here, you're free to use whatever you want to just try to figure it out. With all the AoE moves you just picked up, you can see how fast you can tear through these things. It's just ridiculous. Now, it would have been nice if I could have killed it on the 7th upturn, but... And just like that, our trap chest is down.
But stay alert, everyone.
So, nice smooth affair. Wish I could say the same about the one in the sewer, which is so freaking rage-inducing.
That should suffice.
An A+ outcome.
So there he has Energy Shell, Healing Move. Definitely handy because it also gives EP back, and it's a percentage of EP. So for your casters, you can unlock a bunch of orbment slots in them, and Machias can keep them casting at pretty much their heart's content. So a reward for that, I believe, was the upgraded Breeze, which has an EP bonus and other stuff. Attack bonus, looks like. So I will be using that on Jusis, and with the exception of the Extermination mission the next game day, he will be permanently in the party for the rest of the chapter. Not gonna tell you why, though.
It's enormous. Stay on guard.
And now we get to deal with our target.
This might actually be a challenge. Good.
So you may be wondering about the side quests, or whatever you want to call the sub-quest thing. Do not panic. You have time to do that. The deadline for that is end of game day, which we get to choose when that is. So for this encounter, focus on the enemy before the Fate Spinner. So I would recommend swapping out Emma's Master Quartz for the one that Elliot starts with. That's something like... I can't remember what's the healing one. If you do that, her healing spells will be more effective in this fight. Will be even it'll be easier than you see here, because I do have a bit of trouble without it. So if you notice Jusis is kind of low on EP, I'm going to need to address that. So right there you notice a link attack, and it's going to be the only one we see for quite some time.
I'll handle this.
And I'm not going to spoil why, but you'll see shortly. It's a storyline event, so don't panic when this happens to you. It's not like you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
So right there I notice, even though she has Septium Vein, she doesn't actually have the healing moves that it talks about. As a result, I have to
Hear me.
heal my party using her Craft Serene Blessing. Which is not bad, because it does give you CP. And all things considered, Breath would probably be a little bit more helpful since it's AoE.
Here we go. All right, let's do this.
So I used Motivate here, but in retrospect, it probably would have been better off to use Fortuna so that I could get a hard attack buff going.
It's my turn.
Right there, the link broke, and that's not going to be repaired until the end of the chapter. So right here, I'm trying to show you that. You can't just re-enable it, that's for storyline purposes. It's not that you did anything wrong.
Hang in there, everyone!
I don't need your
Very
help.
much.
So right here you can see that Jusis got quite a bit of EP back from that as a result of continued casting and being
Very
extremely
well.
annoying. Now, I don't want to deal with more confusion damage, so I go ahead and pop Repuria here to cleanse that away. I don't have to worry about healing Reen because of the 10% heal turn coming up right here. Granted, 10% is not a
My
lot.
turn.
It's still helpful, and it keeps him above certain breakpoints where he's going to get one shot. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of spells
Leave it to me.
equipped on Emma to make her a very versatile caster, and it's really not going to be that way
Arcus,
for
activate.
a long time.
Very well.
Some of the problems I'm going to have is just a general lack of ports, and then using what Sepith I have just to try to open
Arcus,
slots
activate.
versus creating new ports. That becomes quite a balancing act. So right there we got to deal a nice chunk of damage to the crit turn. And you can kind of see that he's fairly sensitive to arts. Unfortunately, Machias is...
My turn.
He's in a really weird spot. I can't figure out how to make him excel. Like, his art power is not exactly that bad, but it's not good enough to stand out above the other casters. His attack power is kind of like middle range. It's not as good as Reen or Laura, so he doesn't excel in that category.
Your help.
He has this weird utility thing going on with his healing move right there, and I wanted to think there's a spot for him somewhere. It's just I can't quite figure it out. The good news is, even if his role's not completely fleshed out here, I imagine this is going to play out much like Trails in the Sky did.
Very well.
For the first chapter, you're going to have a restricted party for the majority of the game.
Arcus,
And
activate.
once we get to second chapter, then we will be able to make the parties we choose. But we'll also have new moves that are disposable from the very versions of the old ones.
Go.
Now, with Cold Steel 2 already released, people will know whether or not that is possible. That's just speculation on my part based on previous experience with the series and
Leave it to me.
just common ties I'm seeing as we progress. So you can
My
see
turn.
Reen is getting worked over pretty thoroughly. He will get a turn before the thing gets its next one, so I want to go ahead and use the Chrono move to try to keep the party rolling.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, the 25% heal from Machias' shotgun move isn't quite enough to keep me healthy here, since the guy hits me for, I want to say maybe a third of Reen's hit points. And then some people get hit for more than half. So yeah, you have a bit of a balancing act to do here.
Arcus, activate.
Here we go.
Good news is the game does kind of get easier as you go, as you pretty much just
I'll
get
handle
access
this.
to more and more resources. It's just a bit disappointing when the enemy strategy is just sheer status bombing and
Arcus,
kind
activate.
of taking advantage of the lack of Mira in the game. So it breaks. So the fight's winding down.
Here we go.
A couple counterattacks here and there would have been nice, but not a big deal.
It's my turn. Arcus, activate!
Yeah.
Also would have been nice to finish this on a 7th turn, but I still have
I'll
7
handle this.
equipped, so I will get a bonus regardless. I also could have equipped the one Master Quartz that boosts, or gives you a chance of having Quartz or 7th materialize just from doing attacks.
Now.
There are ways. Right there we get the overkill bonus,
We
which
should
is
be safe
what
now.
I wanted. That way I get an extra 10% EXP, and you can see the party is slowly rising in level. We also get a Demonic Scythe Quartz for our trouble.
Great!
Making progress.
So
Done.
brace yourself for a scene. We also get the Flash Grenade, which is so-so. It has its uses.
That was rough.
Yeah, but we still won.
Only just.
What the hell is wrong with you, Jusis Alberea? Why did you sever the link?
Don't even think of trying to place the blame on me, Machias Regnitz. You were the one who severed the link.
You said you'd cooperate, but you just couldn't do it, could you? You couldn't bring yourself to stoop to the same level as a commoner like me. You nobles truly are beyond redemption. You're utterly hopeless, through and through.
You asinine little... Why can't you see that all of this is born from your own prejudice and narrow-mindedness?
That's enough!
Please, calm down.
Stay out of this! This is our problem!
Why don't we settle this once and for all? Let me show you how much better than you I really am.
Reen!
There we go.
Nice work.
Reen, are you all right?
Hey,
Are you injured?
I'm fine. It's just a scratch. I was so sure we'd killed it, though. Guess I shouldn't have let my guard down.
I shouldn't have either. But it's down for good this time.
I should administer first aid on that scratch. I'll need you to take off your jacket.
That feels much better. Thanks, Emma.
You're welcome. I'm happy I was able to put what we learned from Instructor Beatrix's classes to good use.
That was last week, right?
I'm sorry, Rena.
It's our fault that you were injured.
Oh, don't worry about it. It wouldn't have happened if I'd been paying more attention. I'm just glad neither of you were hurt.
Why are you so...
You should rest that shoulder for a while.
Yes, absolutely. I'd strongly recommend you fall back from the front line for the time being.
Thanks, I will. All right, let's get moving. We need to tell the Provincial Army about the monster we just defeated.
Yeah, I suppose it's not a done deal until we file our report.
Aurochs Fort isn't much farther across the canyon. We may need to hurry if we wish to be back in Bareahard before nightfall, however.
Let's go.
Hey, Reen?
Huh? What is it?
I just... Lux solius mercuri eum.
What? What did you just do?
Nothing. I just wanted to check on your bandage. Good, good. It seems fine. But please try your best to keep your shoulder firm. The less it moves, the better. We don't want your injury getting worse now.
Okay.
So in case you're curious as to what just transpired, that is Emma using some of the church's healing magic, the Septium Church, which is causing me to raise questions on whether or not she has any connections to the Graalsritter. They did mobilize, one of them is responsible for killing one of the big members of Ouroboros, so it would not be surprising to see them send in another sleeper agent to further deal with them. I imagine Emma would be lower on the totem pole than the previous guy, but she could be holding back and everything, because most of your guys here have some sort of secret they're hiding. You will be learning Fee's secret in the next video on why she can do the things she does. Emma is going to be further on down the line. I don't even know if it's going to be in this game, though. It's just, we know she has connections to the church now and maybe the Grail Knights.
Oh, what a nice looking treasure chest.
It's enormous. Stay on guard.
Popping in again, there is a chapter of Red Moon Rose up for grabs here. Is this voice act? Ah, now I remember what I want to talk about here. In case you're wondering, I have certain parts of the video marked where I have to say stuff. So, tanks on the move. Isn't that freight train from Bareahard? It's carrying tanks. Pretty heavily armored ones at that. Those are the latest models from the Reinford company, and they're called Octane. So I wanted to talk about the Octane thing. If you're not familiar with their German numbers, that's the number 18. Some of you may remember this from Xenogears. There was a gear called Siebzehn, piloted by Maria, and there was also one called Octane that was an enemy of sorts. So in case you're wondering, Siebzehn translates to 17, Octane 18. Those are just coming from numbers, and we'll have to see if there's a Neunzehn or something along those lines as we progress down the story. But the reason why I'm here right now is I am continuing to make a fallacy. So I'm buying these food items thinking that it's like Trails in the Sky where you can eat them to get their recipe, and the fact of the matter is you can't. I've been wasting all the money doing this. You have to get the recipes from some sort of quest or talking to a person or something. It's not just as simple as it was in Trails in the Sky. Now this is the guy you need to talk to get chapter 4, I think it is? Yeah, chapter 4. You can get 5 in the next game day. But for now, there's some business to be done at the fort, and your main reason for going over there is just for the book. The food is worthless, like I said, since it's just a consumable healing item.
Dangerous foe. Stay on guard.
We're finally back.
My feet are killing me.
Can't get to sleep?
I could ask you the same. You aren't going to tell me the bed's too hard for you, are you?
I wouldn't dream of it. I've never slept in a bed this high class in my life. Not even back at home.
And yet you're the son of Baron Schwarzer. You've not lived the life one might expect of a boy from a noble family.
Yeah, that's just how my dad is. A lord should live like his people, not above them. That's how he always put it.
I see. It sounds as though you have a good family.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for my upbringing.
Aren't you going to ask? I assumed you'd be curious about that brief exchange with my father earlier.
I wasn't really sure you'd want me to bring that up. You obviously get along really well with your brother, but I didn't get that same sense with the Duke. Has he always been like that?
As far back as I can remember. I suppose he just has little respect for a son born to a commoner.
What?
My brother and I have different mothers. He was born of my father's legal wife, a noble who still lives to this day. My own mother, however, was a commoner, and she passed away 8 years ago. In other words, I am his bastard son.
I had no idea. So, was that chef we met earlier?
He's my uncle, on my mother's side. Perhaps that's why he's always been so good to me. Or perhaps he's simply compelled to treat me as I deserve to be treated, being the son of the Duke.
No, that can't be. I don't blame you for being a little cynical, but there's no need to be quite so hard on yourself.
I suppose you're right.
I'm sure you have your differences, but you do get along with your brother, right?
You could say that. He's treated me well ever since I was taken in 8 years ago. He was the one who taught me my swordsmanship, and who trained me in the ways of court etiquette.
I knew it.
Pardon?
There's just something honest, I guess you could say, about the way you fight. It shows that whoever taught you was someone you really trusted. When we first met him this afternoon, I had a hunch he might have been the one. What's wrong?
Nothing at all. You just keep reminding me how unlike a noble you truly are.
I get that a lot.
Is your injury from this afternoon on the mend?
It's fine, honestly. There's no pain, and the wound's closed up like it was never there. I'll have to be sure to thank Emma's grandmother for her help someday.
That's good to hear. Still, from where I stand, you are something of a danger to yourself.
I am?
On the day of the entrance ceremony, when the trapdoor opened beneath us, you acted instantly to protect Elisa. It wasn't even a moment's hesitation.
Ah.
In most cases, one would reflexively act to protect himself. It's part of man's natural survival instinct. Yet you put another before yourself, not even pausing to question the validity of that decision. And you did exactly the same thing with us today. I'm sure most people would see that as an act of selflessness and sing your praises for it. But to me, it comes across as abnormal, perhaps even twisted.
I don't know how to respond to that. I wasn't expecting you to see through me quite so clearly.
Well, I owed you as much for having seen through me first. Still, the point stands. You need to be more cognizant of the effects your actions have on those around you. If not for your health and for your reputation, that selflessness of yours can just as easily be perceived as arrogance, after all.
I know it can. And you're not the first person to tell me that. What's the point in saving others if you can't spare even a moment to save yourself? That's what my old master always used to say to me.
Was it now? I suppose we both have some things we need to work through.
Yeah, but for now, we need to get a good night's sleep. If we stay up too late tonight, we're going to be dead to the world tomorrow, and that wouldn't be fair to the others.
I agree. Wouldn't be fair. To the girls, at least. I'd hate to be so tired as to limit my potential.
Here, here. Good night, Jusis.
Pleasant dreams.
And on that note, we're done here. We get our end of day evaluation, we can move on to the next day and more adventure. So until next time, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Drinks are on me someday.